line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a beautiful day and maybe a little bit of a chaotic one because it is Rockingham Speedway back here on the track and on the show. And we're about to find out what happens when the ARCA Series get their taste of this track. Hi, everyone. I am the Crusader Christian Driver joining you guys here today here as we're getting ready for the action to spread its wings and spread its time on the track. A lot of hard racers and a lot of tough racers about to feel the absolute wear and tear that only you can get on a track like this, in a surfaced up position like this. It should be a wild one today. You're going to experience it all live here on the show, so stay tuned with us as we're getting ready to get down with it and near the show. Take a listen into our drivers as well here in just a moment here. We'll take a quick look at our track tech talk here. Presented by Lightning Wrapz here, of course, the graphic overlay. This is a mile-long track, but what makes it distinctive from the other mile-longs? It's a high bank Mad Mouse right here. Bumpy roads, bumpy sides, bumpy corners, keep the throttle engaged, but watch out for the spins and the thrills and spills you're going to get when you're trying to run it around on this track. So, a lot of hard racers and a lot of tough competitors. Let's hear from one of them right out of the gate. Here is number 45 from the iRacing.com. It is Tim Williams. And Tim, great to hear from you again, sir. As you have suited up here for a little bit of a bumpy ride, I presume this is not no ordinary limousine ride for you today, son.
It is not. It's nowhere near the soft limousine I'm used to, believe me. But it's going to be a lot of fun, Chris. I guarantee that.
A lot of fun, a lot of hard racing to follow. Now, I'll ask you this. I mean, you're driving on a track as bumpy as this place. How do you just kind of keep the throttle up and keep this thing engaged with the track as it is?
There's a trick to it, and I don't know what it is yet.
Well, we certainly hope you can figure it out down there, but... Well,
like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun, Chris. Yeah, it takes a getting used to, believe me.
For sure there. Well, Tim, thank you so much for your time down there, buddy.
Thank you very much, Chris. Have a good evening.
You too. Tim Williams, ladies and gentlemen. Time to listen in to a guy that has not been with us for a minute here. The Professor is back. Tim Lee back on the show. Tim, it's a pleasure to have you back here. And, man, it hasn't been a time since you've been around, sir.
Yeah, it seems like forever. It's only 2 weeks, but that's a long time without seat time. So good to be back.
Good to be back. Good to have you back here on the show. I got to ask you, man, you got a whole lot of drivers ready to kind of take you on and really to go back at it with you, but this is a track, honestly, that's been known to give the underdogs a little bit of love and a little bit of character. How do you feel about that kind of entering into this one?
Well, you saw the video I sent in our admin chat about how bumpy it is, and it's a handful. They call it the rock for a reason. So this one, strategy-wise, I don't know, man. Fast laps, who knows what tires are going to do, but those bumps are going to be great.
They're going to be great. They're going to be quite the handful today. Any kind of final thoughts as you kind of enter into the race?
No, I think just all about trying to play it safe for the first half and then trying to move up the field after that. We'll see how it plays out. Doesn't always work out like that, but we'll see.
Thank you for your time down there, Tim.
Thanks, buddy.
Tim Lee, ladies and gentlemen, on the line there. Time to hear from hopefully the Candy Man's actually with us today. We'll see if Daniel Holloway's got a copy down there.
Hello.
Well, at least he had a copy down there, and at least this time I'm not seeing a Reese's cookie. Instead, he actually decided to be nice to me and bring me an actual Reese's cup. Great to hear from you, Daniel.
Yeah, change up a little bit now, and been gone for a few weeks. Glad to be back tonight, especially the Rockingham. So I like this track, so it's gonna be pretty fun.
You've been known to really hit it hard with the consistent momentum-based tracks like Rockingham, Kansas Speedway, Kentucky, and all them. For you, though, what's really the biggest challenge for you to kind of have to face off against and really try to hold this thing online with?
Right now, just trying to learn the line with this car right now. It's been a while on this track with this type of car, so I'm just trying to learn my spots and everything, but these tires are going to eat up quick, so I'm hoping some good green flag pit strategies tonight and maybe steal a win from it.
Try to steal a win from it. You said green flag pit strategies. Are you trying to look more towards the tire wear or the fuel line for you in this case?
Probably both.
All right, fair enough there. Daniel, thanks so much for your time down there, and good luck eating some Reese's Cups after.
Yeah, sounds good. If I'm in the podium, I might send some up there.
Well, I hope so, because that's what I kind of wanted one right about now. Thanks, Daniel.
Take care.
Daniel Holloway, ladies and gentlemen. Time to listen to another guy that knows a thing or two about how to handle with the big dogs. Bobby Anderson back on with us here today, and Bobby bringing a little retro to the old track itself. The Interstate Baggers number 18 looking pretty solid. How are you feeling so far?
Oh, feeling pretty good. It's going to be rough. Nice little track here. It's got some edges on it, bumps and grooves. It makes you going to have to work for it here.
They got to work for it indeed. Now, I'll ask you this too here, Bobby. You have had quite a time or two here on the show. You've obviously come away with championship wins. You got race wins to your name. But, I mean, how important is it to really get a win here in this series, especially considering how tough the competition level has become?
It'd be major here, especially at a track like this. Everybody here, the Rock's going to be, it's going to be kind of a patience game here as well, like normal. I believe a lot of guys are not going to understand the corners. There are going to be a lot of spin outs. Just a lot of tight racing, and people just have to have a little bit of give or take here, and then hopefully at the end, we'll be sitting there pretty at the end.
For sure there. All right. Well, nevertheless, Bobby, thank you for your time down there, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Bobby Anderson, ladies and gentlemen, on the line. Time to listen to Gordon Lawrence Jr., see if he'll have a copy down there. Gordon, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Great to hear from you again here, and good to see the DuPont 00 back on the stage here. Gordon, obviously you've had a lot of success on some of the mile and a half and had some workarounds on the mile longs, but this is probably one of the trickier mile longs that we usually see drivers kind of face up against. What's been your thoughts with this track so far?
Yeah, this is kind of a difficult one for me. You know, getting better over the years, but still a little difficult.
What makes it difficult for you in this case?
I don't know. It just, to me, tire wear is not good to me here. I don't know if we're just trying to overdrive the car or what.
Well, we certainly hope we can figure it out here before it is a little too late. But nevertheless, Gordon, thanks so much for your time down there.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys, up in the booth.
No problem. Gordon Larson Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Well, I've already seen a Reese's Cup laying around here. I think I'll probably find a Butterfinger or two around with this guy. Dean Viney back on the show. Dean, good to hear from you, sir.
How you doing tonight?
Doing alright, sir. Just I'm just waiting on a few Reese's Cups and now apparently a few Butterfingers while we're at it here. How's that old car been doing for you?
Not too bad. I think it's got a little butterfingers on the tires right at the moment.
Well, why is that? Like, what's with the Butterfingers on the tires all of a sudden? Shouldn't that just be on the car itself?
Yeah, I was hoping it should be, but she's a little loose, but it comes in. You know, I think tires are going to be a big issue here tonight.
For sure there. Alright, well, Dean, nevertheless, thank you for your time down there, buddy. Dean Viney, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we got 2 more drivers really we can talk with here. I think probably we got to talk with a guy that's always seemingly at the top of the mountain. I guess you could say that the old rattlesnake Robert Kahn has been pretty much edging himself in there all this time. But, Kahn, I got to ask, sir, you have thrown a bit of a throwback in many regards. A good wrench service number 88 today, though, sir?
Oh yeah, I thought I'd change it up here. Go to an old school track, so I'd run an old school scheme. Excited for this race. I love this racetrack.
Why is it you like this racetrack so much for your case here?
I feel like it's a driver's track. There's not a lot of grip. There's a lot of bumps. There's a lot of tire wear. There's so many variables into it besides just going and letting off the gas and getting on the brake. You know. So I feel like that separates a lot of the good drivers. You see a lot of the top drivers run up front at this track because it's so difficult to navigate around.
For sure there. Well, Kahn, nevertheless, best of luck down there in that old 88.
Hey, thank you, man.
Robert Kahn, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we'll tack it off. One last driver to talk with here, Eric Blount on the line here. And Blount, getting the Viagra 4 Taurus back to the show here. I mean, Blount, you've got a track that could suit the style of that Ford, but nevertheless, the tires certainly not seeming to agree with what many others have been saying.
Yeah, you got to really not abuse him. So it's going to be one of those take care of him as long as you can nights.
Take care of them as long as you can kind of nights. And I'll ask this too. I mean, you're usually known for trying to save your equipment, trying to save yourself up till really about the last minute. Is that going to be kind of a strategy you're going to use here, Rockingham?
Nah, it all depends on qualifying. Me and my teammate, we'll talk it over and figure out if we want to try to, start closer to the front or want to play the, weight game, start in the back, just let it shake out because this is going to be a long, brutal race here tonight.
For sure there. All right, well, nevertheless, Blount, best of luck down there.
Thank you, sir, and all you do in the booth.
No worries. Eric Blount, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to see who is going to be walking away on top. Well, I guess since he wasn't here last week, I guess we'll incorporate Tim Lee out of the start here. Get the car fired up, just trying to get the car out of the track. Mike Rideout looks like he will be the first to exit off, so as you know us, whoever exits out first, we'll bring him first. MRN Network Moser Racing number 76, this is Mike Rideout. Interested to see what Rideout can kind of bring to the table here. He's going to certainly have quite a case study here to figure out. There are 2 ways to really navigate Rockingham. You got the bottom, and then you got that extreme outside line. People will tell me you can run the middle a little bit, but really no. You got only the middle. You only got that bottom and that outside groove for speed. Everything else can either get you swung around or throwing you for a bit of a loop. Anderson and Rideout setting the first times of the day. Rideout's first time here, laying down a solid 24.32 timed in. Anderson, his first time, 24.35. Interesting, you see already Rideout trying to get some speed, trying to get a little bit of leverage. And his second qualifying time, 24.35. Tim Lee, 24.37 for the first one. Anderson trying to get a run off the corner number 4 here, looking for his time. It's a 24.47. Final time for Tim Lee here at the 24. Trying to muscle it off turn 4. We'll see what he can bring to the table. And a 24.50. That'll put him somewhere relatively in the back edges of the pack. Depending on how else qualifying goes. It could be a top 10 qualifying time. Hard to say. But when you got Derek Paulson and you got Blake Treywick on the house, I think you might want to stop counting your chickens. Because at this point, you already know what's happening next. Paulson trying to set his fastest time here on the second lap, trying to get a little bit of run on the outside, then trying to see how that middle and the bottom lane will shoot up for him. That bottom creek, though, down off that corner, that'll really crease him up a bit. His first time. Was there really any doubt? 24.06, but Blake Treywick, 24.01. And the 56 looking like he may have a little bit extra speed here. Treywick trying to get a good drive on that bottom lane now. Shook can just shoot the corner again. Has to get that flat spot. Saves it down in the corner. Hard charge off the outside. Final time. 23.95. 23.95. Tie in the thousandth of a 10-second range. But it's Derek Paulson sets the time first. Wow. Thousandth of a second faster there. Paulson able to take him down. Robert Smith. Oh, he's all over the place. That's trouble. 24.55 his last time. This is not going to be a better time. 25.12. That will set him somewhere in the back of the edges. Well, if there's anybody that's going to possibly knock down Derek Paulson or Blake Treywick, and maybe this guy, the Good Wrench Services 88, Robert Kahn. Robert Van Ness says the snake rules. Michael Bollinger says he's got all the PTM crew today. Kahn swinging that car right around. He had some serious giddy up there on that rear end, trying to stick it right underneath. 24.02, not the fastest. Actually, a little bit slower than Ty Marasco. Ooh, and a little bit loose off corner number 2 as well. That could slow him down a bit. Compared to what Dawson did, Paulson was a lot smoother in the corners, a lot smoother off the exits. I think that's really what's probably going to hurt Kahn here. Well, he'll get it under the 24s, 23.99 for his final time. Not enough to take down Treywick or Paulson. Former race winner, the number 9, Corey Coe, Gulf Oil Machine now onto the clock. His first time going to be a 24.58. Yeah, and I'm going to be real with you guys already. This is a pretty slower lap than I think we were expecting from Coe. Didn't get a whole lot of give there, a little bit of power. And I think the times are going to reflect it here. Well, 24.11 though. That will put him somewhere in the middle of the pack. Top 5 right now. Todd Poston though, setting his time on the track. And it looks like Poston hasn't even been able to get a number up. See if we can get a time down. No, he will not put any time down. So Poston looks like he may have found himself in a bit of a strangle trouble here, and that is not going to give him any laps. This way, this is all just for practice, except for that. Carl Yuckness saying, keep up the good work, Carl. Thank you all so much for tuning on in here, sir. Appreciate you all for tuning in here as well, guys. Still got about 3 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock here. Take a look at the timing sheets here. This is your qualifying times again. So far, been pretty clever, pretty good here. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes from here, though. The only drivers that have not qualified yet, Michael Pratt, Daniel Holloway, Eric Blount, Corey Larson Jr., Ray Radford, Tim Williams, and Dean Viney. The only ones that have not laid down a qualifying time just yet. Gonna step away from the mic for a sec. Just give me one moment here, guys. So back with the guys now, back here as we're getting settled onto the track here again. Fastest qualifying time to Eric Paulson, 23.95 for his time there. Carl saying he lost he'd lose a tire down there. I'm not sure who lost a tire down there in this case, but I'm presuming probably maybe Robert Smith or one of them that may have lost a tire. Con definitely, certainly, what I would say, probably got a little too aggressive even for his own good, but nevertheless, though, folks, that looks like that's pretty much going to be the end of our qualifying session. So, without further ado, you know the drill. Let's kick to the intros. Time for the Pit Stall Racing Series! So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for your gridding order today. On the pole in the 06 will be Derek Paulson, the outside, and the number 5-6 Blake Trawick. Row number 2 is Robert Kahn, the 88, the outside, and the number 1 Ty Marasco. Row number 3 is Corey Coe in the 9, the outside, and that's 76 Mike Rideout. Row 4 is Bobby Anderson, the 18, the outside, and the 5 the throttle Chantel Bottle. Row 5 in the number 24 Tim Lee with the outside, and the 08 it'll be Robert Smith. Row number 6. In the number 21, it'll be Daniel Holloway with the outside in the big double O, Gordon Larson Jr. Row number 7 is piloted down by Michael Pratt in the 3, the outside in the 45 is Tim Williams. Row number 8, Eric Blount, number 6, the outside in the 47, Ray Radford. Finally, in row 9, it'll be Dean Vine, the 78, the outside in the 31, Todd Poston. With that said, drivers, if you're ready to go, fire those engines up, crack them down, and crack them on. This could get interesting. Carl Yuckness says the gun car did when he said earlier he lost a tire. Yeah, Corey Coe, could be. I mean, he was flat. I mean, he was trailing that thing. He was trying to get some speed. Ty Marasco right now might want to hurry up and get to the track, though, because currently, right now, he's only got about 15 seconds left before we enter into the stage here and into the race. There he is. Fashionably late, no pun intended. So the field now, initiating the start sequence. We're going to line them on down on the track here and get ready to roll on through the speedway. What lies ahead for these drivers is only something they can tell us, something they would know. So this is going to be a good one here, race fans. Paulson, Trawick, Kahn, Marasco, Coe, and right up top 3 rows. Who will set the bar and who will set the standard? And how long can we go before chaos inserts itself? We're about to find out. To the Pit Stall Race Series, ARCA Series, let's bring it down. Forward screen printing, starting zone, sends them to a 100-lap race. Well, so far, at least, pretty clean out of the gate. Somebody told me earlier that they get 25 laps in right out of the gate here. I think they'll be able to last out the long run. Certainly will seem to be the case. Dean Viney making a jump ahead of Ray Radford in the number 7 out of the gate here. Got on the wall a little bit there, and Radford trying to just square himself back up. Probably was not expecting how close that wall would be. Troy Radford not able to make the call today after his win last week, so we will for sure have a new winner this week. Throttle Chantel Pot on the 5 kind of hanging around there right out, while Anderson, the number 18, just kind of does his thing, going to look to take on the old rattlesnake. This vehicle comes around on a turn. Whoa! A little trouble down there for the Throttle Chantel Bottle. Got it too loose off of turn number 2. And if memory serves me, oh no, she's in trouble again. Can you hang on down there? Oh boy. And if memory serves me too, I think that's the same corner we saw drivers last Tuesday night be banished to the Shadow Realm. More often than not, drivers would get into trouble down there and they wouldn't know where they were going. Caution is out on the track here. It looks like problems for the throttle ends up causing the caution to come out. So take a look at the replay here and see what exactly got that caution to come out here in the first place here. We'll see probably a good idea of roughly what happened exactly. So this is right now what we're viewing is basically what's led up to the spin here. The producers right now are saying they're trying to look for the footage of when the caution came out, who Charles did, but this is what got the throttle here. Now, I thought originally when that happened they were going to get that caution flag to come on out, but instead it did not. Just kind of jumps right up into the front there with the other drivers, and I think that might have been what kind of sealed their face there a little bit. Field drivers probably not too thrilled. They have to kind of slow down a bit and have to get squared back up, but not a whole lot they can really do with that situation. So right now, anyway, Derek Paulson, your race leader. Blake Treywick in second. Ty Moresco in third. Robert Kahn in fourth. Corey Cohen then behind the proverbial 8-ball, if you will. Looking to try to settle them back down, though, and get themselves situated out once more. There is a whole lot of drivers right now that want to find their run, that find their game here. See what they can do today. Sizing the field up and ready to size themselves back on down here off to the front straightaway here to the restart zone. We are back underway. Well, Marasco and Paulson getting themselves a little bit of drive off with Treywick jumping right up ahead. Kahn trying to stay in the back of the pack, looking to get some momentum going. Corey Coe looking to maybe make a little bit of a dive in between, looking to try to see if he can have some runoff on these guys. The hardest part right now as a driver here is just being able to control and understand the situation and the gravity of things here, especially when you jump ahead that far and that quick. Marasco trying to finally do something he's been waiting to do for a long time. That's going to race win, but he's not going to get it done when he's continuously on the verge of collapse on that bottom groove. He's got to be careful down there. He's getting so low in that corner and just kind of sending it right down in there. Honestly, it's quite surprising he's being able to even hold that thing online. Might have burned up enough of the tires there to at least get the car to settle back down a few and really kind of take it slow around the controls. Treywick and Con right now in a heated battle here for the third spot. But the more they battle, the more they're giving Paulson and Marasco time to breathe, time to lean and get away. Again, it's only a 100-lap race. It may seem like a lot, but that's not a whole lot for a short track like this. It's only a mile in length here, so it actually really favors these drivers in a bit of a long-form run, a bit of a long-term gain versus long-term loss. Mike Rideout started back in the 6th spot, currently only in the 7th position. Corey Coe and Bobby Anderson jumping up a position or 2. Treywick falling back 2 spots. Marasco, the hard chargers, with 3 spots up. Tim Williams, though, the ultimate hard charger, with 5 tied with Todd Poston. And Todd Poston right now kind of hanging back there a little bit, just doing his own thing with Daniel Holloway and Tim Lee battling right in front of him here. I gotta believe Poston right now probably is just not too thrilled or worried about what's gonna have to go down or what he's gonna have to do to keep them on their toes. Eric Paulson though already knows what he's up to. This track is wearing and tearing on his tires and starting to force him into a few bad stumps here. Good wrench service says GM88. Con trying to make a jump up to the front. Marasco needs to start thinking about what's going to happen here. Con has probably got a war of words still to think about and a lot of things to understand and culminate. You remember back at Kansas, Con looked to have won the race when Marasco ran out of fuel, only to get outspoken by the madness that struck. If you're Rubber Con right now, the only thing you're really thinking about is just whether or not you decide to take that risk, to take that opportunity, to really force the other driver's hand. And here, a lot of drivers going to get a little smoother, the corner's a little smoother on the drive there. They could be trying to save a little bit of that fuel up, trying to save a little bit of that speed, try to hold on for later. Very crucial here, especially when you need to get a little bit more lap time in, or a little bit more of the fuel line out of there. Later your tire wear goes, the better speed and momentum you can carry through with it. I think these guys are pretty well aware of that and pretty sufficient on how to kind of handle that, but the problem is literally putting it all on the line here. Well, Daniel Holloway right now trying to make some work here and some easy work of Mike Rideout, but Mike's not exactly an easy guy. Believe me, I've had to face him off before in a late model stock, and I still do. And even in a Honda Civic Type R too, if I want to add that in. You just can't knock the guy down that easily. Believe me, I've tried. I wanted to, but I honestly couldn't even with him. Daniel Holloway a little bit close to the nose of the 45 of Tim Williams. Williams and him backing off just to make sure that they don't end up causing a kerfuffle and a scruffle down there. Meanwhile, we meet back up to the back, to the front, and it's Bobby Anderson, Eric Blount jumping ahead to fight it out a little bit. Blount on the inside. Anderson trying to hold his line on down. Blount drifting slightly up though, almost catching the corner. Last thing you want to do right now is catch any corners that involve just getting too aggressive and too angled out. Marasco and Con right now currently separating themselves out by about 0.6 of a second. Con currently fighting some dirty air and fighting some dirty traffic here. Just trying to see if maybe he can try to hold it down, trying to find a way to stimulate that car, the best possible position he can. Deep into the inside lane. Here comes Blount side by side here with Anderson. Anderson still, though, you can see he's getting a much better exit than Blount is, but the entries are where Blount is catching him. It's always been a tricky little subject here. It's how to try to bash that outside line because of how close that wall comes up. But then again, around in the bottom lane, you got to worry about those bumps off the exits of the turns. Those rocky bumps, this rocky road is not as smooth as it says. It's a very, very rocky road indeed here in Rockingham. Like right out Tim Williams here going at it a little bit, but it's right out who falls victim to Holloway. Holloway jumping it right up ahead. Now finally getting some track position here. Ty Marasco. Oh. Is he back on the track? Yeah, there he is. I was going to say, I was just thinking for a minute there, did he seriously just literally glitch out of the system and out of our service here? But nope, he's okay. Corey Kell right now, the number 9, just kind of staying focused on his run, staying focused on his grip here. Trying to stay ahead of transition in the corners as well as the turns. Those is a lot at stake and those are a lot on his plate. The only thing he can really do is just keep control and keep himself out of problematic territory. Gordon Larson Jr. backing off quite a bit here. Looks like he's having some problems there trying to keep the car stable. At least down to that, at least down to turn number 2. Looks like he may have just overdrove a little bit. Could have been the possible situation there. Hard to say, but definitely not what you want to see if you are literally trying to be the fastest guy out there right now and trying to hang with these guys. Marasco right now, pretty good lead, pretty sizable lead, but again, we've been in this shoe before. I really can't say much else. The only thing I can really tell you is he just needs to keep the pressure on. Scrapping along and still powering on down. Paulson, you can see what he's up to right now. He's trying to get the car to stabilize up as much as possible here, get himself a little bit of ground clearance and a little bit of travel. Our best lap times today have been relatively close to qualifying times in the top 5 bracket, but not in the number 1, 2, 3 bracket. Right now, doing my calculations, 24.07 has been the fastest, and ironically enough, it was set by Ty Marasco and Blake Treywick. Those are your fast tier drivers right now, anyway. Or so it would seem, but that is still a long, long road to success before you can ever really say too much about that. Nearly halfway done so far. Tim Williams right now starting to get a little bit more entrenched to get away from Daniel Holloway. Bobby Anderson heading into pit road early. Not uncommon to go to pit road this early in a race. Certainly, it might be a bit uncommon to be trying to play out this kind of level, this kind of deal here. Scrabbling along right now. Looks like Robert Kahn may be giving a little bit of time up to Treywick here. Treywick looks like he's starting to figure it out. And Dean Viney getting out of the way there. Kahn into pit road. Treywick has taken the second place spot over. Ty Morasco still your race leader. Just at this point, I think he's really just kind of focused on just trying to maintain his distance, maintain his ground here, and I think that's kind of what the other drivers are doing too. Morasco heading into pit road. Michael Pracken now put Kahn a lap down here, trying to put him further out along the ledge, along the hedges here. Mike right out into pit road. Eric Blount, Daniel Holloway now your race leaders here, so that will be your top two. Blount staying out the line, oop, and probably also into the wall a little bit. Probably trying not to get too aggressive there while he can. That certainly will not help at all. So on board right now with Daniel Holloway here as he tries to keep his pace up, trying to keep his momentum down. Not a whole lot of area you can really work with. The only thing you can really do at this point is just kind of time your shots, time your positions. And I think that's what everyone else has been kind of doing here. Pratt, Holloway, and Poston are your only three remaining out on the track that have not gone to pit road. Sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it absolutely crushes and defeats your favors there, but nevertheless, this field certainly knows what they want to do, which is take full control and not for granted what they're up to. And Poston going into pit road, so Kahn actually taking the race lead away here, surprisingly. Looks like he just went in for some fuel there. Looks like only taking fuel. Looks like there's problems down there for Daniel Holloway. He had to go in and get himself organized, so he's gone back into pit road here. Gonna try to hurry in and hurry out. See what he can do here, see what the car will come out to, and it looks like he's going to go out to about a 9-second spot. Looks like that was a full fuel run here. Ty Morasco already, though, trying to hunt down Kahn. Not a whole lot of action to really speak of until right about now. Here comes Morasco as Kahn tries to shoot the top to block him. And Kahn surrendering the lead for this time. Roscoe, probably at this point right now, it's safe to say, is the odds-on favorite to keep the speed up, keep this power up. He might have a chance here. There's one thing I really like about these races, man. It's always, you never know what you're going to get. You just never know what to expect and what you're going to see. Except just two drivers going head-to-head in a climactic battle, in a climactic sequence, just trying to race everything they can to its limits. Khan giving up a lot of time too to even Derek Paulson. Paulson swinging his way right around here, kind of slinging some speed, slinging some power up there where he could. I mean, right at this point, maybe it's safe to say Paulson also probably has got something to figure out here. He probably got a little bit of an idea how he wanted to race this. I mean, those that try to strategize above all else, they usually are the ones that have the best performance, the best kind of drive, but I feel like with some of these guys too, like they maybe overestimate just how crucial in each turn, each maneuver, each power-based move goes. So Mike Rideout, Michael Pratt going at here. Pratt right now getting the better of Rideout. Pratt seems to really kind of be dictating a little bit of a strategy here. He seems to be really kind of focusing in on what is the center point, what is the main area, the main fabric of his nature. And really go from there. I mean, he's really hit home just how hard it is just to even get this car to stretch into the turns and really get in around the towers. And I've talked to them before, and I've had some great bouts with them as well. Still kind of packing it up a bit right now. Just trying to figure out who is going to make the biggest moves, the biggest runs here. And it looks like we do have a battle going on for the third place spot. Robert Kahn, Corey Coe, and Daniel Holloway. Trying to see who can get the better of the other. Who can get out of that 3 wide salute just quickly enough. Daniel Holloway, though. Wow. That 21 was slinging the rear end out of that one. He was hoping for a little bit of a drive off, but he did not quite get there. Caught right up into the full Coe, your new third place position. Holloway trying to secure that lane there too. Halfway done. Past halfway done with this race, and now we're really starting to see the fireworks start to go off in these drivers' minds. Meanwhile, up in front of here now, Eric Blount trying to put the Viagra number 6 up to the face of the Good Wrench Service, 88. Colin, I don't really know if he is trying to strategize an extremely long run and then power off everybody, but he's definitely trying to make anything he can work with this one. Holloway almost looked like he just kind of threw that thing in the inside of the 9 of Coe and just decided just to drive off from it without him even making a muscle move. That car was so blistering fast, it just blistered the tires and blistered right through, and it made for quite a jump. Coe, Blount, Larson Jr., and Kahn all right in the heads, into the speed. Coe right now trying to deal with Blount, trying to get him off his tail. Deadlocked almost in between one another, and yet it's going to be Blount taking control. Blount is now the hard charger of the day. 11 spots up. He started back at 15th. He's currently made his way into the 4th spot in the forefront of really what could be best described as a hard race to really take notice of and take control of. Tim Lee, watch out down there. You're going to stun yourself into a bit of a little gap in between there, my friend. Well, the professor managing not to become well, put it nicely, a tore up professor. Stayed out of the trouble there between Corey Coe and Eric Blount, but you can just see how close it was between the two. One wrong move entering in that turn, he knew he was going to be facing some absolute troubles. Roscoe just right now at this point looking to force every single driver to bend at his will and stay focused on what causes him to really stretch out the most. 40 laps to go, and right now this is extremely good strategy, and honestly I think it may be enough to work with. Eric Blount right now just trying to keep it ahead of Daniel Holloway. Holloway was trying to hold him off. Now all of a sudden it's completely reversed the switch. Blount able to find some extra speed, a little extra giddy up. And right now looking at our lap timing here for the pit lanes, currently lap 37 and 35 were your earliest pit stops. 35 was Gordon Larson Jr. and 37 was Corey Coe. Robert Kahn already back in pit road here. I'm honestly surprised he's back into pit road this early, considering he just really came out of there. But whatever he feels, whatever he's doing, he feels like maybe he needs to do it just to kind of keep himself occupied and under control here. Todd Poston right now just kind of hanging back low there, and Michael Pratt looking to run his gap in, run his drive down into the game plan here. So much pressure being put on these drivers and put into the field. Pratt kind of getting in that 7th position, and really Pratt's been kind of one of those guys too, man. Like he can put up a pretty good fight, put on a pretty good little show. If he can find a way to dial everything in and kind of get the car to square up on the track, he really doesn't have too much negatives to really think about. I think his biggest problem overall has just been how does he handle when it comes to narrowing down the course, narrowing down the track, and then understanding where the car goes from there. I think that's kind of one of his biggest focuses, one of his biggest troubles he's really dealt with. Robert Smith, though, we haven't really had so much time to really talk about him. The only one we really talked about that's named Robert, it's the guy that just passed him in the old rattlesnake, Robert Kahn. But he knows thing or two on how to watch his line, watch his setup, and watch him control the track here. Field just kind of passing around right now here, trying to get their times back on the clock here. Almost a 5-second lead for Ty Marasco over Derek Paulson. Paulson definitely well aware of what Marasco is up to. They are teammates after all, but respectful in their nature and respectful in their drive. Well, at this point here, really the way this is kind of turning out to be, at this point it really just kind of hinders on whether or not you can get the very last bit of this race in without any troubles, any problems, or any situations that nobody in their right mind wants to be thinking about. Coming down the line right now, Michael Pratt starting to jump ahead a little bit. Daniel Holloway giving himself into pit road, so succumbing to the speed here, succumbing to the track. Nothing you can do about it here. Mike Rideout, Eric Blount, Holloway, Corey Coe are all in the pit road. Carl's been in there. Corey Larson Jr. has been in there. Williams, Smith, and them. Paulson going in. Marasco going in. At this point, it's been pretty much the Marasco and Paulson show. So, they have got to be working together as closely regarded as they can be, just to even make sure this race ends the way they're hoping for. They still have to drive the fine line and win this one out. Alright, Sapod posting into pit road. Marasco coming out first. Paulson coming out second. And both pit stops pretty much the same. So now that just hinders on whether or not Marasco continue to keep his pace. He's got the flaps down now finally. He's now also got a fuel run down finally. Now he just needs this final leg to work with. Coming from pit road, looks like Eric Blount, a little smoke coming down from the back there. Not sure where that smoke came from, or maybe one of the other drivers just ended up having a little bit of a clip off there, but doesn't seem to face them just yet. Michael Pratt holding a pretty good spot right now. I think probably with that 3 car, I think he may actually be able to hone a solid little spot here. I think a top 5 for Pratt, honestly, would probably be enough of a confidence booster just to get him ahead of the curve and ahead of the positions more than anything. He knows he needs to get something dialed up here. Jumping around right onto the playing field. Tim Lee, Gordon Larson Jr., Derek Blount. All these drivers right now just doing their own thing. Lee at this point right now knows probably this is more like a testing session for him. Probably just doesn't want to get himself into any issues here. Doesn't want to affect any of the leaders. Doesn't want to affect any of the drivers. They just want to let this race out as best as they possibly can. Tim Williams there and Robert Smith are all trying to get their lap back here as well. Corey Coe jumping it back up on the eye in the back here and just trying to settle himself back down. Oh, I mean, really, one of the biggest issues here right now, ladies and gentlemen, has just been nothing really to say in terms of who's getting where and who's getting what. It's been basically just whoever can catch who first, and then from there just drive it off. Fuel and tires obviously have been a bit of a deal here. They've been a bit of a troublesome spot, so. Don definitely said earlier today he loved this track. He likes to race this place, and he said he was very excited about this today. Well, I think he was not wrong. I think he had one little downfall, though, which is he was not expecting how crazy or how tough this truly was going to be. I really don't think anybody honestly was expecting it to be this tough here, or this even competitive, just to be able to get this far ahead, to kind of separate the gaps out and separate the drivers out. Now again, there's only 18 drivers with us, but those that did make the show and make the call, they are flying up. And they are putting everything they can. Time's starting to run off here, and time is starting to run away a bit. Pratt now having to deal with some company. Daniel Holloway trying to make a last-ditch effort, a last-minute run here with Corey Coe being on his surpassed here. Pratt now trying to deal with him on the inside. The right sides have got to be burning up quite a bit on all these drivers that have been trying to run the gauntlet in terms of the laps they've been fighting and the drivers they've been dealing with. The track itself not playing any issue to it. This more or less is making it harder for him to figure it all out. Platt getting the better of Holloway. Con back in pit road already. So looks like his strategy just completely went out the window here. Eleven laps left to go. One last drink of the good stuff and hold on for whatever they can here at this point. Pratt trying to get a little bit of a gear shift on that 31 here. Holloway right in there with him here. Meanwhile, behind him, Corey Coe and all them trying to fight back into the paces. Nobody is safe now. It's all about who can just hang on for the last bit in the leg of this race. But has the time finally come full circle for number one? we'll certainly see here in a minute. Because right now, Ty Marasco, numerous times, been put into the fence, been put into the limelight, or put into an absolute horrible spot that cost him something he so desired. Is it finally time to change that leg up? He certainly thinks so. But again, you can't fully say it's true or confirmed until that checkered falls out and you've got it all in your hands. Wow, and Gordon Larson Jr. actually a pretty clever little strategy by both guys here. 00 and the 6. Making a little bit of an easy work here, trying to really muster and manhandle the track by just simply outracing the track and then trying to find a way to race the drivers out. But I don't think hitting that wall is going to help very much there. Went into pit road at the same time the other guys went in. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hold on a minute. A little bit aggressive there from Blount. He's really getting a little bit closer to the edge of the disaster, if you will. Smashed that wall in a little bit and ended up throwing himself to the hardware. Now 5 laps to go. Flagman with a high five in the air last time by. Marasco right now looking for 4 more good laps. You can see how close he's been narrowing the gap down, narrowing each turn. Derek Paulson probably looking to try one last thing, one last tactic, maybe to catch him. But at this point, I think even he knows he's kind of let this one slip away from him. Blount lost a lot of time there on Gordon Larson Jr. after smashing the wall up a little bit. Again, his teammate there, though probably not someone you don't mind losing to. I know how that feeling is. 3 laps left to go. And it looks like out of the field we only lost Bobby Anderson and Chantel Throttle Pottle, so both drivers probably just too much damage and too much sustained ability, just couldn't keep it up. 2 laps left. Marasco going to be facing probably the one driver he did not want to see on the last laps of all things, Robert Kahn, trying not to get into any mess-or-any situations like this, but at this point, what else can you do? White flag in the air. Marasco leaving him behind. He doesn't want nothing to do with him, but he can't slow down too much. And all though, after so long of waiting and trying, there is one thing that Marasco can finally say. He's a race winner again on Pete Team Racing TV. His first season win after so long out of the limelight. After so many attempts, so many chances lost and left on the table. Even having to go out of town for a little bit. He finally returns to the top of the mountain. And I think a celebration is certainly in order right now for that number 1. I think it's safe to say he's pretty excited for this one finally. Presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing, ladies and gentlemen, here are your race results. And it is pretty cut and dry, but Ty Marasco finally gets a break and catches one his way. Derek Paulson's teammate will go second. Double O, Gordon Larson Jr. going to get a nice solid third for this one. Eric Plum going to go fourth. Michael Pratt of top 5 for him this time around. Daniel Holloway goes 6th. 7 to Corey Coe. 8th to Todd Poston. 9th to Robert Kahn. And 10th to Robert Smith. That will round out your top 10 today. One last piece of business, ladies and gentlemen, to take care of. You know what we're doing. Time to talk to the top 3. Gordon Larson Jr. first up on the list here for a third place finisher today. Gordon, congratulations taking it on home to third, sir. And I really got to ask you, sir, man, you had a pretty stable car and a pretty good ride all day, but you didn't quite get everything into working order, really. Why was the car just not as fast as you were consistent there?
Well, early in the run, the first run, pushed it a little too hard and looked at the tire wear, and the end of the race was better. If we could have run the car like we did in the third stint, I think we would have probably been closer to the leaders.
Closer to the leaders and closer to the situation here. Man, I really got to ask you, too. I mean, had it been a little bit more of a timing spot and really been able to kind of get things dialed in, could you may have been able to have a chance to actually get up there and face it off with them?
I don't know. Probably not. They were still a scotch faster than us. But just like I said, as the race went on, I got faster. I got found a better line in the third stint and was able to kind of pull away from fourth place and hold him off and just keep third. But, man, we're real happy with the podium.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Gordon, you're going to take home third. Who do you want to thank you for that one?
I just give a shout out to my teammate, Eric. Give a shout out to everything y'all do up in the booth and, everybody that puts on the league.
For sure there. Well, Gordon, you put up a heck of a show and a heck of a battle out there. Congratulations to knocking down a solid third place today.
Appreciate it.
Gordon Larson Jr. going to go third today, ladies and gentlemen. Second place finisher, Derek Paulson, going to be taking the reins for second this time around. But if you're going to be second to anybody, I mean, might as well be able to be second down there on your teammate there today, sir.
Yep, can't complain. Don't necessarily care for this track. Was kind of surprised at how well everything went. Overdrove it the first part of the race. Then me and a lap car came out at the same time. Or I don't think he was a lap car then. At the same time, I came out of the pits at the same time, and it cost me a couple seconds. And with no cautions and what that cost to me, I was just driving for second then. I was just riding around.
Riding around indeed here. I know, obviously the car was fast and had a lot of speed, but really, how did Marasco actually get ahead of you so quick? Like, how was he even able to kind of catch you off guard there?
Well, I knew he was coming. I didn't want to overrun it, and then give him a lead lap, or a lap lead, I should say. And we were just discussing that before you pulled me up. Like you said, I should have probably just continued to run the way I was running in front of him, and things would have been a little bit different. But I'm ecstatic for him. I told him beginning of the race, top 5 for me would be good. So second place, I'm still pretty happy with.
Pretty happy with the deed. Anybody want to thank you for this second one?
I got to thank you there up in the booth. I got to thank Tim and all the admins at the pit stall. I got to thank all the drivers who showed out tonight. This track isn't easy, and they have one caution in 100 laps. That's pretty darn good. I'm actually kind of speechless because I didn't think it would go that well. Regardless of who's racing at this track, this track just brings cautions. And great race by everybody. And I got to thank Michael Falk Racing Designs. He paints all our vehicles, all our cars, and all the leagues we do. And I got to thank Ty there. Congratulate him in the win. I figured before the race I had a feeling he'd probably get the win tonight, and he did. And I got to thank him.
Yake them indeed. Finally knocked one off. But Derek, nevertheless, nice second place today, sir. Congratulations for that.
Yep, thank you.
Derek Paulson, ladies and gentlemen, and well, he's been waiting a while to finally do this, but it is that time at last, ladies and gentlemen. Ty Marasco finally going to get it into victory lane today, and Ty, Man, you've worked harder than a lot of drivers usually do and went as far as you could to get to this point. At last, you finally have done it, sir.
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, finally is right. You know, a couple weeks ago at Kansas, I made a bonehead move. I ran out of fuel, and then I made a bonehead move that, manipulated the race. I served my punishment, but had a few bad races after that, but we're coming back out, firing on all cylinders. This fast MFRD Ford Mustang #1 car was lightning fast tonight. The setup felt great, and the car was just rolling. I mean, you can see both MFRD cars. Obviously, finished 1-2, but we are flying.
You were flying. You finally figured out how to kind of get everything put together. I mean, really, I'll ask this. I mean, the fact you're able to fly as much, how are you even able to kind of figure and calculate even enough fuel to get this thing dialed in as well as you had? Because the last couple times it seemed like fuel or the speeds were where everything was just off by the slightest bit.
Yeah, I think tonight was just the perfect storm. I mean, running with only one caution, it didn't put fuel in jeopardy at all. I think at Kansas, the thing at Kansas was I had the auto fuel option, and that didn't give me enough fuel. So I fixed that issue. I don't use that anymore. So I just run my own. I do my own calculations. So that helped me get this win, and it feels good because I dominated at Kansas, and it sucked to come away without a fuel out of the last turn and lose the race. Just knowing that all I had to do was really just pay more closer attention, and this time I made sure that didn't happen, and it's a fast car, and hey, I came out with the win.
It finally came out of the win indeed. Marasco, who do you want to finally thank for all this?
I'd like to thank Michael Falk, MF Racing Designs. He's done a great job on my paint, so I want to shout out him. He's been dealing with a lot, and happy to get this win for him. And check him out on Facebook. He'll be more active and out and getting paints out for everybody. And he makes great paints for me and Derek. And I like to thank Derek as well. He's a great teammate of mine. And me and him just came out. We had fast MFRD 4 Mustangs, and that's all we can ask. And hopefully come back out next week and do the same.
We'll certainly see. But Marasco, at long last, got this one off the radar. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you.
Marasco finally getting himself into victory lane after so long out of that spotlight. Thanks again to our friends at Fort Worth Screen Printing again, and of course Lightning Wrapz for their supports. Thank you everybody, the fans tuned in as well. We appreciate you guys. I'm heading off for the night, and I will see you all later.